Barca take the top spot in La Liga. Napoli slip up in Serie A.
Bayern can already be crowned in Bundesliga, and Liverpool are cruising in the Prem. All this and more in this episode 45, 45, for all you bilinguals out there. Kick us off, Snooze.
Let's dig in. Oh yeah, and it's a big weekend. We had a lot that just went on, and then we have even more going on this weekend, and we'll talk about all of that and more. Welcome to the No Business Soccer Podcast. I am your host Snooze, and we're here with Danny P on the ones and twos, and of course, everyone's favorite hype man Vic. What you sipping on, dog?
Well, today I have an old fashioned. I made an old fashioned. It's kind of a weird old fashioned, but the cool thing is I made it in our cups that we got for being season ticket holders.
Wait, why is it weird? Why'd you say a weird old fashioned?
Because it is one of the best bourbons you could buy out there. It's Jack Daniel's single barrel strength rye, and it's very like highly alcoholic. Whatever, it's like 123 proof, so it's like 60 something percent alcohol.
We need to get this done quick. Don't sleep that back.
It's an amazing whiskey, but not all really good whiskeys make a really good old fashioned. I put different bitters in here to try to spicing it up and liven it up, and I spritzed a lemon instead of an orange. But it's not really the best old fashioned. But I'm gonna drink it.
What you're saying is you wasted a whole shot of your really nice bourbon.
It's coming around on me. It's just not the same. But yeah.
But I messed up the point. The point was the cool cup. That's the cup that we got for our season ticket holders for Austin FC. I don't know. Yeah, you gotta do the YouTube thing, dude. There you go.
There you go. Says the original in 21. Well,
I like that. The OGs, baby. That's cool. And what you know what? Later. We have that. We have the UEFA competitions, the second round of the playoffs.
Playoffs.
We have that going on. We have a Wrexham recap, but then we're gonna start, of course, with boots on the ground, because you know what time it is. It is game week, baby, for the Austin FC Minute.
That is right, boy. It is match week for Austin FC. Man, we've been waiting for this for a long time. Can't believe it's already springing up on us, man. We have 4 days from whenever you see this. Everybody out there in the crowd. So yeah, we waiting for this for a long time. For a little bit of news update, we have Myrto Uzuni is in Austin. Yeah, I don't know if he's ready to play yet. He hasn't played with the team as far as like drill preseason or anything like that. I'm sure he'll be working out this week.
He's a striker, bro. Just get up there and score. That's fine.
I'll just get in there. Yeah. Fine. So good to have him in Austin. That's one of the front three is the most money I think we've ever spent in our history, which is only 5 years, but still, they're ready to go. It's match week, and also it's against Sporting Kansas City. That's right. That's who it is. Sporting Kansas City. That's it. I forgot who it was, but yeah. So we usually play pretty decent against them. So let's see if we can do it, man. We got to start off with a bang.
All the questions, well, they don't get answered in the first match, but anyway, we're going to get answers to a lot of the questions we had. The new coach, how do we play without Driussi? All these new players in the pitch, in the field, in the team, on the bench, anything. Like, everything's all new. And then you know what? I'm actually refreshed and revigorated by this because it was getting stale. It was getting stale, and it was time.
Dude, I even caught myself. I was watching just old match highlights from Austin FC this week. I was watching. I'm like, oh man, I'm ready to go. Man, I'm getting ready to go. Yeah, so It's gonna be fun, and we'll see if we can make some content for you guys. Maybe an Austin FC minute from outside the stadium, or maybe the Hop Squad.
Hop Dotty. Oh,
we can definitely.
Damn, we going for burgers? Hell yeah! I'm down.
Yeah, man, we'll see pretty soon. Definitely hyped, and can't wait to get the season started.
Okay. Well, let's jump right into our Wrexham recap. And I don't think that Danny P hasn't said anything, but right before we came on air, I was like, hey, I'm going to do this and then the Austin FC minute. And then I just got on camera and started doing whatever I wanted. So apparently I don't pay attention to anything. So But let's get it going with our boys down in Wales, up in Wales, whichever way you want to call it. Wrexham had Northampton Town this weekend, and they came into this road match against Northampton Town off back-to-back wins and third in the table. And even though Northampton were sitting in 19th, they, like Wrexham, were also coming into this one off back-to-back wins and trying to make it 3 wins in a row for their first time in nearly 2 years, as the commentator was saying. But Wrexham got the scoring started early, this time in the 18th minute. Thank Jesus we didn't have to wait till the end of the match, as new boy Sam Smith gets an assist from a long ball from the keeper, Mark Howard, of all people. And then just a couple minutes later, the man with the second most British name of all time is Oliver Rathbone, takes advantage of some sloppy defending from Northampton Town and puts it in the back of the net. And that was 2-0. The Wrexham was up 2-0 at the half, and that was all she wrote, really. They were really never really, yeah. And let me say really again, tested by Northampton in the second half, or at all, in fact. They never even got they never registered a shot on target throughout the entire match. And Wrexham really needed all 3 points this weekend as they looked to catch Wycombe in second, who dropped points in a 1-1 draw, leaving the gap between them just 2 points. And don't forget, they still have one more match against each other later on this year. That one's going to be hype, but that's the future. For now, let's talk about the matches coming up, and that is the midweek madness for Wrexham. They get Leyton Orient at the racecourse on Tuesday night. And yes, that's the Leyton Orient who had that wonder goal against Manchester City in the FA Cup. They are sitting 6th in the league in League One and have won 4 of their last 5 matches. So it's going to be a tough game. But they follow that match up with the road trip to Mansfield Town, who are currently sitting in 15th and have lost 4 of their last 5 matches. So, little tough, a little bit easier. We'll see. But essentially, it's a marathon with Wycombe at the moment, and they really just need to match their results, and then obviously they can get the better of them in the head-to-head match, and we'll go from there. So, man, it's getting an exciting season all around Europe, and I'm actually excited to jump back in to some of the European matches that we have outside of Wales this time. And let's go to the UEFA competitions.
Seamless transition, man. I'm scared of you.
I'm scared of you. Yeah. We're going to start with the Conference League playoffs and just talk about the 2 matches, because the rest of them, we'll talk about the round of 16. We'll have a little bit bigger names in the round of 16. But for the 2 matches that we're watching in the Conference League, we have Heidenheim and Copenhagen going at it. And remember that Heidenheim comes into this game with a 2-1 lead on aggregate, and which is just insane. They can't win a game in the Bundesliga, but they're climbing up the table. I mean, we might really have to figure out what happens if they get relegated and they're still in the Europa League. Okay, but the next match we're talking about is Real Betis against Ghent. They have a 3-0 lead, so they're probably going to win that one pretty easily. But, man, we'll talk about it here in a second. But Anthony, I think he's good now. He's, like, playing at a different country. He's got some I don't even know, like some confidence, I guess we call it. But we'll talk more about that once we get to La Liga. And now let's move on to the Europa League playoffs, and we'll give you a little update on a couple matches there as well. One of the biggest matchups in Europa League is Roma versus Porto, and it ended 1-1. So we're basically going into this the second leg of the playoff with whoever wins, they go on to the round of 16. With that, we also have, Galatasaray and AZ Alkmaar. There would be a match, but that Galatasaray are down three goals going into the next round, or into the second leg. So, yeah, probably not going to happen. Of course, we still have Real Sociedad, and they get a 2-1 win over Midtjylland last time. Midtjylland? I need to say that a little bit better. I need to say that a little bit easier. And then we also have our teams, Ferencváros and Victoria Pilsen. Ferencváros coming to that one with a 1-goal lead. Okay, forgive me, cancel. Let's move on to the Champions League. This is going to be, this is going to be real fun. And we're coming up, a couple hours away from, when the time y'all see this. We have Milan. If you remember, they lost the last match out, so they come in the second leg down a goal on aggregate to Feyenoord. And then we also have Benfica up a goal on Monaco. You still laughing? Why are you still laughing?
Sorry. You're good.
Yeah.
Sorry, audience. I laugh at a lot like stupid stuff all the time. Like, I'm
also,
sorry.
He's drinking 100 proof, dog. He's drinking like some
120
moonshine.
Yeah.
And then don't forget that Atalanta lost to Club Brugge. Sorry, I don't want to get beat up. And that's a 2-1 aggregate to Brugge. Bayern. They left Scotland with a 2-1 win over Celtic. And then we also have Dortmund versus Sporting, who Dortmund, kind of like Heidenheim, they can't get a win in the Bundesliga, but they won 3-0 against Sporting last time out. We also had PSV losing 2-1 to Juventus, who Juventus will go in with the lead. And then we also, well, I guess PSG, they beat Brest 3-0, and that's pretty much going to be over. The one that we're all going to be watching, though, is Real Madrid versus Man City. Real Madrid have that 1-goal lead, which everybody's talking about how it's over. It's 3-2 to Real Madrid. But, I mean, come on, a 1-goal lead, that can turn around really quickly. The problem is they are at the Bernabeu this time around. And, Vic, how happy would you be if Man City go out before the round of 16?
I think that'd be awesome. And if they just kind of like slip up more in the Prem and just like are out, that'd be pretty cool. But,
everything just go away.
Yeah, but with how strong they look, I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll talk about it.
We'll find out. We'll find out, man. This is what it's all. This is what the whole structure came around, like the new thing that they're building. This is what it was about, right? Like getting to a playoff round and fighting to get in the round of 16, more head-to-head matchups between the bigs. So yeah, we're getting what they said. Okay, that is it for all of the ancillary pieces. Is that what we can call it? Where we can finally jump into the European reach around or the European wrap up, whichever way you want to call it. You know, it is whatever it is. And I think, Vic, we're going to start first off in Italy.
Let's do it then. To Serie A.
I thought you were about to flip a bird to me. I was like, "Whoa, what is he?" Oh wait, no, that is a gesture.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll start off with the matchup on Friday. That was Bologna getting 3 points from Torino at home in a 3-2 win. And this was a fun one. Bologna get the winner thanks to an 89th minute own goal. But the goal of the match was Elif Elmas. I hope I said that right. Elmas? Anyway, he megs a defender to get past and go one-on-one with the keeper and then chips the keeper. It was a freaking filthy, disgusting move. I loved every second of it, but Torino still lost. On Saturday, Atalanta and Cagliari split the points and go 0-0 as the A's, their form in the Serie A continues to slip. Napoli and Lazio put on a show, and it ends 2-2. We'll talk more about that in a second. Milan get a 1-0 win over Verona. They left it late as Jimenez's goal came in the 75th minute, but damn, it was worth it. Some sensual one-touch passing goes on, and Leao ends up putting it on a plate for a header for Jimenez, and it was awesome. I mean, the thing that I will say the most awesome about that match was that their new fourth kits that they came out with are just sick. They're awesome, amazing. I'm not a Milan fan per se. You know, I'm a professional here, but that kit is awesome. Check it out. Let me know when you see it. On Sunday, Como heard me saying they needed a break from playing top teams in Serie A and said, we are a top team. They go into Florence and get a 2-0 win over Fiorentina. The 2 goals come thanks to their own 2 young stars, Nico Paz and Asan Dio. And, man, those guys are going to be real good if they stay in Como for a few years. Monza and Lecce go 0-0, and I think it's a fine result for Lecce, but for Monza, it's much worse. You can't draw in 6-pointers and stay up. That just can't happen. Udinese bully Empoli as they get a 3-0 win at home, and that result leaves Empoli with 3 consecutive losses and just a point outside of the relegation zone. Roma grind out a 1-0 win over Parma, who were down to 10 men after just 32 minutes into this one. The goal was a beautiful free kick from just outside the box, but the story of the match was Parma keeper Suzuki. I have brought him up a few times on this podcast just to say keep an eye out for him. He's going to be good. And, man, every now and then he just pops up with some crazy saves. If you like keepers and you like seeing some good saves, go check out the highlights in this one. And, Juve figured it out. They know how to win games, and they're looking scary. They get a 1-0 win over Inter when Inter knew going into this match that Napoli had dropped points to Lazio the day before, and they still get it done. I've never seen Inter, specifically Martinez and Dumfries, miss so many chances. It was crazy. I just never seen it. And the goal that was put in by Conceição was awesome, but it was all built up by the new boy for Juve, Kolo Muani. I mean, the quick feet and the control. I thought he did it on accident until they showed it in slow motion. And it's sick. Just go watch it. Dude's filthy. What a player. What a good get for them. I'm sad they didn't go to Spurs. On Monday, which a few hours ago, actually, I was watching it, Genoa get a 2-0 win over Venezia to stay mid-table, but that result leaves Venezia with 3 straight losses and 5 points from safety. The only saving grace is the fact that Empoli and Parma are in terrible form as well. And pretty much that's about it for that one. Okay, Vic, where does that leave us in the table after match day 25?
Yeah, on the table, looking pretty starting to look a little bit competitive on the top, except that 5 out of the 6 top teams drop points. Only one getting to win. Napoli take the number 1 spot. They sat 56 points after their draw, like you said earlier. They are 2 points ahead of Inter. Inter actually lost, didn't get any points. They have 54 points in the second spot. Atalanta have 51 points with that draw as well. And then the only team to get a win is Juventus, who have 46 points, and that win got them up into the Champions League spots, rounding out our top 4. That means Lazio is now in our 5th spot, getting knocked out just on goal differential, as they have 46 points as well as Juventus. So looking a little competitive. All he needed was a win. Could have shook some things up more, but that's the way things go. It is what it is. We've been saying that all day today, so it is what it is.
What it is.
Yeah, at the bottom of the table, Parma, there's not much change around here. Parma is still in the 18th spot. They have 20 points after a loss. Venezia also pick up a loss. They have 16 points. And then Monza, even if they won, would probably still be actually, no, they have a better goal differential. They're still at the bottom. They have 14 points, even with the draw. And holding up the rest of the table. But like I said earlier, Napoli and Juventus, Lazio, Napoli and Lazio both played to a draw. There are 2 of the top 6 teams that happened to drop some points, and it cost Lazio, but didn't cost Napoli. But let's know a little bit more about the game that they played this weekend.
Yeah, the match itself was really fun to watch, especially our old stomping grounds, as we say.
Mm-hmm.
Our favorite Eagle. What's he called? Eagle holder? Whatever. Handler? Eagle handler. Yeah, our favorite Eagle handler. He's gone, but, it's still fun. But this match, I mean, it would appear that Napoli's kryptonite is our Lazio. And that's pretty much, they've done it all season to them. And this match had it all. It was long-range bangers, check. Weird random butt bounce goals, check. Drama, check. And, of course, it wouldn't be complete without a late goal to turn things around. But first, let's talk about the goal, the goal heard around the world, I guess we can say. It comes from Gustav Isaksson, and that is a Viking name. And the dude hits it from well outside the box, and it was a missile. It was one of those goals, Vic, where it's like just straight, there's no turn, it just straight through. No movement, outstanding goal. Crowd went wild. It was 1-0. To Lazio, but then 7 minutes later, Raspadori gets Napoli level and finished at the break, actually 1-1. After the break, though, the teams, both of them had their chances, and none of them clear within Isaksson. I keep saying his name wrong, but I don't know. Isaksson. But anyway, he had a wide open chance out on the wing, and he's in the box, and he's like right there, can't get it over, and you just think like, dude, how can you hit one from way outside the box, then you get that close and you can't do it, but pressure, I guess. And then of course the one I was saying, the butt goal heard around the world as well. Napoli had a cross that comes in, and a Lazio defender falls down. It literally hits off his ass cheek, bounces up, hits a Lazio defender that's running in off of his knee, and it's an own goal. And Napoli gets the would-be winner that way. It was crazy if you watch it happening. But there's so many things that kind of had to happen for that goal to stand, and it all did. But in the 87th minute, the substitute Dia gets the unlikely equalizer. Just as the announcer was saying, he hasn't been involved much since coming on, so it's curse of the commentator. But hey, it worked out for our Lazio. And it wasn't the prettiest or the sexiest goal, but it slowly rolled into the back of the net, and the Lazio fans went crazy. So crazy enough that Guendouzi, after the ball's in the back of the net, Guendouzi runs up to one of the defenders and is like just talking shit right to his face. You love to see it. And that was all she wrote. Lazio did Napoli's title aspirations, and they climbed closer to those coveted Champions League spots. Over the only silver lining, as Vic just told us, was that Atalanta and Inter also dropped points. So, man, it's definitely making things a lot closer in that table when you see the top of it now. It's going to be a wild finish, and I'm excited for the Serie A. Our Lazio get it done. Okay.
Getting tied up there.
I think we're good. I think we are good with Italy and Serie A. I think it's time to move on to Spain.
Let's do it then to La Liga.
Okay. Take 24. Dude, it's so smooth, isn't it? Like, it's so smooth.
It is. It's nice.
never
It's so
change it.
nice. Yeah.
All right. On Friday, we had Getafe. They make it back-to-back wins as they beat Girona on the road 2-1. Girona have now lost back-to-back matches and made it 4 losses in the last 5. On Saturday, Leganés and Alaves split the points in a 3-3 draw, and who would have thought that Alaves and Leganés would put on the match of the weekend in La Liga? It was a last-minute Leganés equalizer, 3 converted penalties. What a match. Of course, the refs, whenever you have 3 converted penalties, probably put their face too much into this game. I don't know what you want to call that. But anyway, they were too much into it. Osasuna draw 1-1 with Real Madrid at El Sadar. But the story of the game was Bellingham getting sent off with a straight red for dissent. And I just want to know, what in the world did he have to say to a ref to get sent off with a straight red? Man, just let us know in the comments, actually. I am very curious. Please.
Well, actually, I think I saw it. I want to know. Well, let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. But I think I saw that he just said fuck off. But the referee thought he said fuck you or something like that. It was like some sort of language barrier or something like that. But like everybody says fuck off all the time.
That's he's British. Like that, they say that all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that's really what happened, but still in the comments, if you want to tell us what you think he said and it wasn't that, just tell us, man. Let's hear some. Let's have some laughs. Okay. Atleti and Celta also draw 1-1, and there was also an early red card in this one to change the complexion of the match. This match, it was a straight red for Barrios after just the 4th minute, and he must have had some beef with that dude because he came in with studs up at just like 4th minute in, golly. And then the Derby de la Comunitat ends 1-1 between Villarreal and Valencia after an 83rd minute equalizer thanks to Umar Sadiq. With that point, Valencia can smell their survival, but it was a bad time to drop points for Villarreal as the 3 of the top 4 all drop points, and they could have definitely inched closer to, I don't know, Champions League maybe. On Sunday, Espanyol draw 1-1 at home against Bilbao, and it was a disappointing result for Bilbao, but Espanyol continue to climb up the table and out of the relegation scrap. Check out Espanyol's goal. It's just a terrible, terrible mistake by the keeper for Bilbao. I mean, just dumb. He just kind of like lazily comes out of his box. Guy slides in and just takes it right from him and puts it in the back of the net. But Oyan Sunset's goal was just, I mean, it was really good. He's really good. He's coming into form. It's 4 goals in his last 2 matches. Guy's on fire. Sevilla stopped their skid of 3 games without a win as they beat Valladolid, Vix Volidoli 4-0. Sevilla's attacking players were having a field day out there and enjoying themselves. This is the fun Sevilla we like. Let's see them more. Preferably not against Vix Volidoli, though. Someone else. Mallorca stopped their skid of 4 La Liga matches without a win as they beat Las Palmas at home 3-1. It's sad to see how fast Las Palmas have fallen back to earth and are now staring relegation in its ugly face. I mean, we were talking about them getting result after result, and they're just right back in the fight. It sucks. Betis 3, Real Sociedad 0, and it's another match and another early red card. This time, La Real were a man down after just the 19th minute, and they would go down to 9 men in the 75th minute. So something's up with La Real. I still haven't heard from any of the commentators or anybody. I was reading about this. I don't know why they're so bad right now. But yeah, if this is your team, you guys know your team better than me. Let me know it. Because they've now lost 4 of their last 5 matches in La Liga. But bros, the real question is Anthony actually good? Did he decide to turn it on when he went to Spain? His volley was ridiculous. Vic, actually, he texted. He was like, dude,
he's doing so much better. Yeah. Because we used to, I mean, he always had a big name in Manchester United, and of course, how they've been this year. It's just been, sticking out. And then he goes to Real Betis, and man, he's doing good. He's got 3 goals in 4 games. I think he got assists. 4 goals in Manchester United. Yeah, I think he has 4 goals at his entire time at Man U.
The podcast I listened to is they were saying how he I mean, you were right. He's big name, but not just the name. He cost them like almost 90 million to bring over. So of course, you're going to get the scrutiny on you. But they were saying how it was one of the guys that was from the United podcast for Athletic, and he was just saying The Athletic, by the way. And they were saying that yes, he's good when he goes to another league that doesn't have the physical pressure that the Prem has all the time on him. So they're kind of salty about it, but either way, dude, that volley was insane. So,
I don't know, man. You take Anthony out of Manchester United. Manchester United didn't get better, but Anthony got better.
That's true. That's true. And then Monday, just a few hours ago, Barcelona take care of business in a 1-0 home win against the mighty Rayo Vallecano. And we'll talk more about that one in a second. But first, Vic, where does that leave us with the table?
Yes, if we take a look at the table, we have a new leader. Barcelona take the number 1 spot with 51 points. They're the only team in the top 6 to not drop points, which is pretty crazy. This is the second league in a row that happened to, so it's pretty crazy. Real Madrid still have 51 points. They're tied with Barcelona, but they have a worse goal differential because Barcelona is ridiculous. It's 40. Atleti is behind them in the 3rd spot with 50 points, so 1 point separates 1 through 3. But again, that's how important it is not to drop points. And if you have 5 at the top 6, somebody's jumping in. It was Barcelona. But rounding out the top 4 is Atletico Bilbao, or just Bilbao. They have 45 points, a clear 5 points behind Atleti. And then tickling the top 4 is Villarreal with 41 points. Another little gap there. One win won't win it for them, or one win won't get them in the Champions League.
That's a lot of W's
spots,
right there.
Right? That's pretty good. Won't get them in the Champions League spots, but they're definitely going to try. But they also dropped points this past weekend. Taking a look at the bottom of the table, Valencia is in the 18th spot. They have 23 points. Alaves is 22 points behind them. Not 22 points behind them. They don't have 1 point. My bad. They have 22 points and are also behind Valencia in the 19th spot. And then Holy Guacamole, my Voli Dolies, Real Valladolid, a clear 7 spots behind Alaves. 7 points behind Alaves.
They're definitely on their way down.
Yeah, this is not doing very good for them on a 5-game losing streak. Let's get it together. I think this whiskey is kicking in way earlier than I thought because I cannot talk right now.
Well, look at the table before you pass it over to me. I wanted to just say that this is, I mean, looking at the even when you go to what is that, Villarreal in 5th place. What is that? They're 10 points off, so they're not getting there. But but Bilbao, I mean, 6 points. That's how much I think Liverpool is up, and that's to the 2nd spot. So that tells you how good Liverpool's doing. But in this league, it's just really cool to see the parity right now, and especially Bilbao. They haven't been. I mean, I haven't seen them up pushing for. I mean, if they're pushing for title, would you call 6 points? Of course, you would call 6 points.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. They're pushing them, but either way, that's crazy to see how that good. The results, it just made this a lot more fun. But anyway, I'll let you finish up.
No, that was it. I was just gonna say that, like you said, it's kind of getting tied up there. One thing you can't do is lose. And Rayo Vallecano, they had that this weekend, and now they are clear 16 points behind Barcelona and a clear 10 points away from getting to the Champions League because they lost to Barcelona, who took over the number 1 spot. And tell us a little bit more about that match they had this weekend.
Yeah, I think that we can officially say they're done. They're never going to be title contenders, and they might not even be Champions League contenders, but they are competing to get just into Europe in general, and maybe depending on how things go in the Conference League. I think they have Betis there, the Europa League, the Champions League. They can get maybe another team in the Champions League, and then it pushes down everything, right? Where it's like the top 7 or 8 even get in. But anyway, my point is this match, it wasn't what we expected in a few ways. But for one, I will say that Rayo played way more open than I thought they would. I thought they would be way more just kind of in their box, soaking up the pressure and coming on the counter. And they did, but then they also had their chances and they just didn't take them. They didn't go in. And the fact that Barca only won this match 1-0 and the goal they got was a penalty, that should give Rayo some confidence. I mean, there's no, what do they say? There's no moral victories and whatever, but I would say that's a moral victory right there. Like the best team in the country, they only beat you 1-0 thanks to a pen. Like, come on, that's pretty cool. But the thing that I will say that I did not expect is how well Rayo looked, and they just didn't look completely overmatched, because we were joking about how we're hyping up this game and it's going to be like 3-0 to Barca, and it wasn't that. And really the fact that Barca got 3 points was kind of all they cared about. It's 4 straight wins for them in La Liga, and both the Madrid teams dropped points, as you were just saying. So now the top of the table, like, that's job done for them. I think the best part of the entire match day, though, was just what I was talking about. That result brings a lot of parity to the table, with 6 points separating 4th to 1st. And I mean, 14 match days left. This can get very, very interesting. And man, I'm excited to see how it ends the rest of the way. And hopefully that means that Rayo are ending in Europe in some capacity. We'll find out. I don't know.
Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Rayo. And they got, like, cool name. They're outside of Madrid.
Yeah.
Like, It's a cool place. Let's see them do good. Okay. I think that is it for
Real
La
quick.
Liga. Oh, go ahead.
Real quick, I saw the Milan jerseys you were talking about earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Are they the ones that look like sandia? Look like watermelon, right?
Yeah, a little. No,
They look like watermelon.
I thought it was
green on the
black.
bottom?
Is it red? It is green on the bottom, though. Yes,
It's
it is.
green on the bottom, and I thought I saw red on top.
Maybe you're right. On the tele, it looked like it was black, but if it was red, that's hilarious. That it does.
Yeah, it's like a watermelon.
Watermelon.
Look
like sandia. Okay.
like sandia.
Right.
Anyways, sorry.
Okay. To Germany.
To Bundesliga.
Oh, okay. And we are getting down to the nitty gritty in all these leagues. And we will start first on Friday. Augsburg and Leipzig go 0-0. And the 1 step forward, 2 step back. Leipzig do it again. But this time they did. It felt a little better this time when they disappointed us. I guess it's a horrible way to put that. But anyway, this one's, yes, the scores 0-0 is not good for them. But really, they outplayed Augsburg, and it's just unlucky they didn't get that goal. Saturday, Gladbach bring all 3 points back home after beating Union Berlin 2-1 on the road. It was a pretty one-sided affair for Gladbach as they were 2-0 up at the half. But once the goal came for Union, it was much more of a game, and they were pushing for that equalizer. It made it a lot more fun to watch. FC St. Pauli fall 1-0 at home to Freiburg. The goal came late in the 87th minute for Freiburg, and it was too much for St. Pauli to overcome. The biggest thing from this match was the failed pinaka by Vincenzo Grifo. I mean, if you don't know what I'm talking about, he tries to, I think it's called a pinaka, right? Where you just pop the ball up and go right down the middle for the penalty, and the keeper jumps one way or the other. Well, it failed because the keeper didn't go a single way, and he just caught it. Like it was, dude, it was hilarious. But anyway, that just went down the center, and it was, I mean, he's like laughing. Vincenzo Grifo's laughing as he's running back, like yeah, damn it. Like, oh, it's hilarious.
Joke's on you. I'm slower than you think.
Yeah. Dude. Oh, man, this is awesome. Okay. Bochum climb out of the bottom of the table after getting just their 3rd win of the season over Dortmund in what was a supercharged atmosphere for a derby match, a derby. We didn't talk about this as a derby before, and I didn't realize that it was. Apparently, they're close in, I can't remember, one of the rivers, like it's the Rhine derby. I can't remember. But either way, Dortmund looked really bad in this match. Bochum looked better, and they get a 2-0 win to show for it. Wolfsburg go on the road to Stuttgart and get all 3 points in a 2-1 win. And if you're planning on rewatching this one for whatever reason, just skip to like the 70th minute because that's where it all freaking kicked off. Voltemada's, I mean, that guy's goal was ridiculous. Like it was amazing. I mean, I don't even have any other superlatives to say for it. Just go watch it. But it didn't matter because Wolfsburg got an equalizer because they were awarded a penalty for a handball in the 87th minute, or they got an equalizer, and then they were awarded a penalty for a handball in the 87th minute. They convert that. It's 2-1, and no one will ever remember the Voltemada goal, but you should because it was a really, really good goal. The biggest match of the season ends 0-0 between Bayern and Leverkusen, and we'll talk a lot about this match, but there wasn't a whole lot that happened in the match. I mean, a lot of trying, let's put it that way. On Sunday, Hoffenheim beat Bremen 3-1 on the road. After watching that performance, though, I'm convinced that Hoffenheim are staying up. I don't know. I just watching it, I was just thinking, like, this is a team that needs to be in the Bundesliga. They haven't done that consistently, but they were the better side and showed a real quality team out there. I'm going for them. I want them to stay up. Let's go, Hoffenheim. Eintracht finally get back in the win column after 3 straight draws with the win over second bottom, as they call it, Kiel. It was a pretty dominant team showing, but really what we would expect from a team sitting in third, playing a team at the very bottom. And they extend that gap back to 5 points with that W, the gap between them and fourth. Mainz had Heidenheim their 5th Bundesliga loss in a row with a 2-0 win. Heidenheim could not build off their Conference League win over Copenhagen, as we were talking about a second ago. And with Bochum winning, they are seriously under relegation threat at the moment. And Mainz take advantage of the Stuttgart slip-up against Wolfsburg, and they're sitting pretty in the Europa League places. Whoa, what am I saying here? Anyway, I think I'm messing up because Vic's going to show us here in the second what that table looks like. So, Vic, back to you.
Yeah. Well, It looks pretty familiar up top. Bayern Munich are still number one. They have 55 points. Despite getting a draw and dropping some points there, they drop points to Bayer Leverkusen, obviously. Bayer Leverkusen in the number 2 spot with 47 points. And the only top 4 team to get some points or get all 3 points is Eintracht Frankfurt. They have 42 points. And then rounding out the top 4 is RB Leipzig with 37 points. Tickling the top 4 is Freiburg with 36 points. Do you want to call out, though, RB Leipzig, 37 points in the 4th spot. Wolfsburg, 33 points in the 9th spot. So 1 win, maybe a win and a half, and a draw will absolutely change everything up between 4th and 9th.
That's crazy.
It is very packed there in the middle, trying to fight for that last Champions League spot or some Europa spots there. That is going to be interesting, a little bit more interesting than the 8-point gap that we have at number 1 and 2 and stuff like that. But
yeah,
obviously, to me, the standout is at the bottom because Bochum is not in last place. They're in 17th now. They have 14 points after their win. And say it ain't so. They're not last. We wrote them off, Stews. We thought they were about to join MLS, but they have 12 points in the last 9 games. They have 14 points altogether. And that's just insane how they've turned it around. And I mean, if you were to 12 points in the last 9 games, there's 22 games. If they had just kept that up, where would they be at now? They'd be at like 30 something points. They'd be fighting for a Europa spot. They'd be fighting for a Champions League spot right now. That'd be crazy.
Let's go, Bochum. Let's do it. You give me hype now. You give me hype.
I know, right? I'm just calling out because I also watched the highlights of the game. That crowd was insane for that derby too. And man, I'm pulling for them 100%. And anyway, that's to say, 17th spot for Bochum. Congratulations, you guys. You guys are looking really awesome. Holstein Kiel, man, what happened? They're in 18th spot.
Yeah, I know.
Giving up so much ground to Bochum. They have only 13 points after their final loss. And yeah, pretty crazy down there at the bottom. I'm really excited for the bottom, but you can't get a better matchup than the number 1, number 2 in this league. Tell us a little bit more about that match that we had with Bayern Munich and Bayer Leverkusen.
Yes, and I just want to say I'm excited for the bottom all the time as well. Well, it was all set up for us to have a badass matchup for the ages in the Bundesliga, and it ends 0-0. Now, watching the match, though, I almost couldn't believe that it was going to end 0-0 because Leverkusen were on fire. I mean, every time Bayern had the ball, they were pressuring them, they were surrounding them, swarming them, and they attacked with purpose when they had the ball. And yeah, just honestly can't believe that they didn't score. They hit the post a couple times. They had a header cleared off the line, and they did everything they could. They just look at the stats. Leverkusen had 15 shots and 3 on target, while the mighty Bayern Munich in a Bundesliga match had 2 shots and 0 on target for the entire matchup. That's insane. Bayern Munich, 0 on target. But pretty much they just sat back to absorb the pressure and kind of hit them when they could. And it's weird. You just never see Bayern set up that way, but they did it. And I bet if you ask Company and the boys about it, they would probably not even tell you that they did. They're like, oh, no, we were just taking the match as it came. But it felt really like you saw a team, kind of like Bayern Munich usually play other smaller teams. It felt like Leverkusen were doing that to Bayern. But again, it didn't matter because even though Harry Kane and Jamal Musiala were essentially invisible this entire match, they bring a point back to Munich, and it's pretty much job well done. Job's done for the league. And it's just crazy to see how it turned out because like I was saying earlier, Vic, the final 15, maybe 20 minutes of the match, if you had a possession stat for just that small period in time, I swear it would have been 90% possession for Leverkusen. They had the ball the entire time, and they just could not get it done. I think the biggest issue that I have with this whole match, Vic, was the fact that Xabi Alonso has Victor Boniface, my second favorite Victor, and Patrick Schick on the bench. And both guys have been outstanding goal-scoring form all season. And they need a goal. Like you have to win this match or the season is over. Essentially, you're going to get second. I mean, that's cool. But if you want to kind of run it back, you need to go for it. And he never did. He didn't bring him on. He brought on Patrick Schick in the 87th minute. But the person that he brings on before was a guy named Adley, I believe his last name was. And he puts a ball over the crossbar with perfect standing chance. And I feel like if that was Boniface or if that was Schick, their striking at the moment was good. Yeah, it goes in. And yeah, I mean, they've been hot early this season, and I just can't believe that he didn't get him on. That's really all there is to talk about in this one. I mean, the biggest headline is the fact that Bayern Munich are 8 points clear, and I mean, the title is over. The title what do I want to say? The title race, I guess, is over. Bayern Munich won it. And please tell me I'm wrong.
No, I don't think you are. I think it's the worst thing. Well, not the worst. I mean, they could have lost, but just the way they played, probably some of the worst thing you could do as a Leverkusen supporter or watch anyway. But there's still a few games to be played. Much crazier things have happened, and I'm sure Leverkusen is boiling for some crazy shit now.
There's I heard a stat that, like, I don't know if it was 8 points or 9 points, but that in the Bundesliga there's never been a team to come back from that many points down. So crazy stuff happens. Let's do it, Leverkusen. Let's go. My boy Hype Man says it's just not done yet. So okay, well, that was it for the Bundesliga. Let's move now to England.
All right, then let's go to the Prem. This reminds me of marching band stuff.
Oh, yes. I'm fired up. Just play those drums for me because we got to win, baby. Let's go. Friday, Brighton defy the odds and put on a dominant performance against Chelsea as it ends 3-0 to Brighton. This was an unexpected result, at least from my point of view, because Brighton's form had been horrible lately. But did you see Mitoma's goal? I mean, everything else was cool and all, but did you see that? It was insane. The first touch was sensual, over the shoulder, tracking, brought it down. I mean, something that freaking Jerry Rice would have been proud of. You got to watch it. It was awesome. Excuse me. On Saturday, Arsenal left it late against Leicester. They left it really late against Leicester, but they end up with a 2-0 win thanks to the 81st and 87th minute goals from Mikel Merino. No striker, no problem, they say. And it is now 4 losses in the last 5 for Leicester, and it feels like they are going down. West Ham make it back-to-back losses with their 1-0 loss to Brentford. And now I think we can start to look at Graham Potter's results and start to judge a little bit. We need to give him a little more time. Has he really made the team better? I don't think so. The Cherries get back on track after losing to Liverpool last time out. They get a 3-1 win over Southampton. The main story of the match for me was Ryan Christie, who had a world-class assist and an unbelievable long-range goal. Have yourself a day, sir. What a time to be Ryan Christie. Ipswich stopped their losing streak at 4 by taking home a point against Villa. The match ends 1-1, but Villa were against the 10-man of Ipswich from the 40th minute on and couldn't get it done. They had chance after chance and just could not get the goal to go in. It's points dropped for them for sure. Man City get a 4-0 win over Newcastle at the Etihad, and we'll talk more about that one in a second. Forest fall to Fulham at Craven Cottage 2-1, despite Chris Wood getting yet another goal. The dude's on fire. And my twin, Adama Traore, was all over the pitch, terrorizing Forest on the wing. That's back-to-back wins for Fulham as they chase those European spots. And I'm not the one that's called him my twin. That's just what people tell me whenever they see me. My sleeper pick for the weekend did not disappoint as Everton go on the road to Selhurst Park and bring home all 3 points in a 2-1 win over Crystal Palace. And I know my boy Danny P is so happy about that. The Moisaya is the truth, and the truth will set you free, Evertonians. What a run Everton are on as they now have won 4 of their last 5 league matches, and they just look like a completely different team right now. What a time to be an Evertonian. On Sunday, Liverpool continue their run at the title with a 2-1 home win over Wolves. This one was never in doubt as they get they get 2 goals in the first half, and they kind of just see out the win from there. Other than Cunha's ridiculous curl goal from outside the box, it wasn't really that close. The goal was really good, though. And Vic, you got to give it. That was a great goal from the Cunha.
Dave, blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. So
exactly.
It's pretty good.
And then the battle of the disappointments in Spurs 1, Manchester United 0. And we'll talk a little bit more about that one here in a sec. But Vic, first, tell us what the table looks like now after match day 25.
Well, you said it. First is Liverpool. They have 60 points, 7 points ahead of Arsenal, who are in the second spot with 53 points. Both of us getting a win this weekend. That's pretty cool. Who did not get a win is Nottingham Forest. They have 47 points in the third spot. And then Manchester City still holding strong in the Champions League spots. They round out our top 4 with 44 points. Tickling our top 4 is Bournemouth, as you said earlier. They have 43 points, able to climb up above Chelsea. Since Chelsea had a loss, Chelsea's now in the 6th spot with 43 points as well. And at the bottom of the table is Ipswich Town and Leicester City. They both have 17 points in the 18th and 19th spot, respectively. Ipswich Town had a draw this past weekend, giving them the 18th spot instead of the 19th spot. So good on them. But who's not doing good at all is Southampton. They have 9 measly points, holding up the rest of the table, and 3 of those 9 points came just last week. So it's pretty crazy. How many points they're not getting? Is that the right way to say it? Like just how many?
I think
points
they have. We confirmed right there. They have the least amount of points for a bottom team in the 4 top leagues that we cover in Europe.
Yeah, absolutely crazy.
Terrible.
The next closest I think is 14. I don't really remember, but yeah, Southampton not looking good. Maybe they'll look good in the championship next year. We'll see. But unfortunately, I do have to say the team that is looking good right now is Manchester City. They just got a 4-0 win at Newcastle. So tell us a little bit more about that match that they had this weekend, Snooze.
Yeah, the 4-0, it was definitely not expected. I didn't see that result coming. I thought it'd be more of a match. Man, Newcastle, they just every time I think that they're going to kind of pull it around. They're going to start being the team that I see every once in a while. They just let me down. And nothing in these two teams' form said that this would happen. It was just crazy. But we forgot about the X Factor, the new and improved best Egyptian player on the planet, Omar Marmoush. Marmoush is on fire as he gets a first half hat trick, all in 14 minutes of play as well, which is insane. What a statement by City, and what a way to announce yourself to the City fans and the rest of the Prem for Marmoush. I mean, God, that guy is just the best on the planet.
Yeah, definitely the second best Egyptian for sure.
Newcastle never really troubled City too much in this match, which was really surprising. They had a chance from Isak that went across the face of the goal, but nothing ever came from it other than that. I mean, it was pretty much dead for them. They only registered 1 shot on target the entire match, and I believe that was the one. And, I have to dig into what the hell happened, but it was just crazy. I don't know what caused this. I don't want to say upset, but maybe upset. Yeah, we'll have to see. For City, the result puts them back in the Champions League spots, as Vic was just saying, for the first time in a while. And it means back-to-back losses for Newcastle, and their up and down season continues. And you said something earlier that kind of crossed my mind. When is the last time that Everton, Liverpool, and Spurs all won a match this season? I mean, that is,
I was actually trying to think of that because we always text or always have something to say to you guys. And so, this weekend it was like
it's fun. It was a fun weekend.
Yeah.
But, I will say, though, it's not for a lack of trying for Everton and Liverpool. Y'all been winning matches at Spurs that have not. And
I do want to give a shout just real quick for Danny P.
Oh, go
ahead. Everton unbeaten in their past 5, looking pretty damn good, bullying some teams out there, might I say, too, looking really good. Gave Liverpool a run for the money, number 1 team in the league. So upset Everton. Good job, you guys.
Wow, you hear that, Danny P? I mean, he can't talk to us right now. I mean, he could if he wanted to, but golly, what a nice guy.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Tottenham versus Manchester United for a second. Tottenham won, Manchester United 0. And I knew this would not end well for United whenever I saw the bench that Amorim had to fill. There was no first team names on there. I think what'd you say, Vic? It was the average age.
I was like, Casemiro starting, bro. Y'all won. That's a dumb.
Yeah. And I'm going to talk about that here in a second. But it was the average age was 18 years old on their bench. Insane. And Spurs, before going into this one, I actually popped a little chub there. It was I choked after saying that. The first team keeper, Vicario, is back. Brennan Johnson was back. Wilson Odobert was back. James Maddison, Destiny Udogie. We needed this. And it was Matter's first half goal that was the difference here and seemed to lift the squad and the crowd and the atmosphere. Wouldn't it figure? You win games. But outside of that goal, Spurs kept getting into great positions to put the game to rest and never capitalized. I can think of 3 or 4 chances that Matthias Tell had and didn't take them. But United, though they didn't have any clear chances on goal, every time they did go forward, it was really easy to cut through Spurs, and I was scared the entire time that they were going to level it. The biggest issue for them was the fact that Garnacho and Casemiro were absolutely terrible. I've actually liked Garnacho, how he's played pretty well, but him and Casemiro, I got the text from you where you're like, oh, man, Casemiro's playing, y'all going to win. And I was like, I didn't understand, why him specifically. After watching this match, dude was a liability. He made mistake after mistake. They kept calling him out on the commentary, and man, I'm glad that he was playing. But what did you see that you made you say that?
I think the last time we played them, I think we scored 3. It was 3-0, and I think Casemiro caused all 3 of those goals.
Yes, I
Yeah,
remember.
that's
Yes,
what it
yes,
was.
yes.
Yeah, that's why I was like, "Oh, dude, y'all gonna win.
Okay.
Y'all got this."
Yeah,
Like he's not. Yeah,
that
so that's the
makes
last time we
sense.
played. I think last time
Okay.
or the time before. But yeah,
Man, that I
liability,
mean,
like you said,
yes.
liability.
It's funny. As soon as you brought that up, I was like, it like came back to me. I remember how bad they were like, this is a
Yeah.
nightmare match for Casemiro. Well, I'm glad he came back for this one. Ruben Amorim Sider in such a bad place right now with performances on the pitch, bad results, injuries, everything. It's just not good for United at the moment. But one thing I will say is that, I don't want to say anything bad about United because they got a big fan base there. But I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about how Amorim turned down the first turn, like when they came to him with the job, he turned it down and said, "Hey, I'll come in the summer, but right now I have some business at Sporting. We're in the Champions League, whatever." And they basically wanted him so bad and told him that if you don't come now, you don't come at all. And for a team like United, you feel like you wouldn't be the one going after someone, right? Like you can attract, you know what I mean? And it just they're not that club anymore. But the fact that he didn't want to go there and now he's there, I feel like he thinks he has more time than he does because they're horrible. So he's like, they asked me to come here when I didn't want to come here. So of course I can be horrible this season and it's no big deal. But man, that's probably not true. And we'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out if they're still bad. I mean, they're in the relegation scrap, baby.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there's a pretty big gap between just West Ham is in the 16th spot and Wolverhampton.
There's a big
the,
gap for them, right?
17th. There's an 8-point gap. They're like 10 points out of or 12 points out of relegation. I have the table.
They're in the relegation scrap by place, not by points.
Yeah, the fact that Man United is even in this discussion is pretty crazy. That's the thing about it is that it's like we're even talking about relegation and Manchester United in the same sentence and like not being facetious, just like not being like not bullshit.
Like just yes, exactly. It's actually
like
I know what facetious means. Yeah. You think I don't know?
There's 18 games left, right? Or 13 games left? 13 games left. Something like
38. Whatever 38 is.
Yeah, it's 25. Yeah, 13 games left. Things can go terrible for them and they could be getting worse, but I don't see it happening with Manchester United, unfortunately. And but just the fact that we have to have those conversations, it's not a good year for them.
Not a good year at all. And it's not been a good year for Spurs either. Just one match, one win doesn't change things. I do want to say though, there was a massive protest for Levy out and ENIC out in front of the Spurs match, the home match that was happening. And it was crazy. I mean, there were, people everywhere, signs, chants, all things about getting the ownership out of Spurs. And man, they were just talking about how this team or this club is not being run correctly. And you see what's going on with us, and there's a lot of things that need to be changed. So that's for a whole nother podcast. I just wanted to call it out because it was crazy to see they're showing it, not really on the broadcast because obviously the man's not going to show it, but
I'm here as a Cowboys and a Dallas Mavs fan. I'm right here with you, man.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, it was crazy to see. So anyway, okay, Vic, that is it. Take us home, sir.
All right, everybody. Thank you for spending some time with us and talking about some European football. Please follow us on all of our socials. Everything is at No Business Soccer Podcast or on X and TikTok. I keep getting those mixed up. It's at No Biz Sock Pod. Let us know in the comments what you guys think about this past week. If we missed anything, or if you want to show us any kind of highlights that we missed here. And until then, we hope to talk to you guys again soon on Thursday with giving you a European look ahead. And we will see you then. Peace.